Hello everyone, this is Dr. Muhammad Hashim, Associate Professor, Faisalabad Business School, National Textile University, Faisalabad, Pakistan. Today my presentation topic is modeling supply chain sustainability related risk and vulnerability. So let's start today presentations. Here are the some outline of my today presentations. I will discuss with you related to my today presentation topics, the overview of sustainability related risk, significance of the study, key problem statement that I am going to address in this research objectives, proposed methodology, data collection process, procedures, main findings, and managerial implication. At the end, I will conclude my study as a concluding remarks. So modeling sustainability related risk in a supply chain is an emerging concept and getting the attention of researchers, stakeholders, and industrial professionals. We can divide the concept of sustainability into two types, into two categories, like endogenous or internal risk, and number two, exogenous or external risks. Endogenous or internal risks, we can further define or we can further categorize these risks like late delivery, surplus inventory, poor forecasting, financial risk, human mistakes, minor accidents, errors in ERP systems that are working in organizations to control and monitor the multiple organizational process and information flow. And the second category is exogenous or external risk that we can further categorize into external risk. We can explain these risks like earthquake, price changes, war, crime, material shortage, and these risks are the uncontrollable risks that we have to face during our organizational procedure or process. We always try to develop our strategies that how we can save, or how we can survive our process, how we can improve our organization with successful profitability and sustainable growth. So the next key points of my today presentation is vulnerability that can be defined as a possibility or potential for the loss. It is a substantial concept that is broadly studied as fundamental for the development of mitigation strategies for overcoming the effects of hazards at industrial, in national and international levels. So in this contents, the objective of present research are to examine the critical supply chain risks associated with the sustainable development goals, namely social, economic, and environmental factors. In sustainability, there are three domains that we are going to address. The first one is social domain, the second one is economic domain, and the third one is environmental domain. We can also said these are the factors as well. So regarding the significance of the study means behind what is the motivation behind to study this topic, to research this topic, to discuss this topic in today's presentation. The management of risk in operation and supply chain has been developed as a one of the main research domains in academia and industry. It has emerged as a new area of research in supply chain management and operation research. In the last decades, risk mitigation strategies are focusing on a series of key basic questions such as what type of risk are tied in a supply chain sustainability contents, how are the sustainability related risks analyzed, how industries mitigate risk and vulnerability, Why are societies becoming more vulnerable to environmental risk? These basic questions that are are the most of the research topics increase the focus of this study, increase the significance of this study, increase the importance of this study. So recently, organizations are much concerned with the supply chain sustainability related risk and vulnerability, as these impact the overall performance and profitability of the industries and also the image of the industry in the national and international markets. The management of risk in operation and supply chain has been developed as one of the main research domain in academia and industry. So this is the motivation, the reasoning behind to study or present this topic into the presentations. So about the key problem of my research study is that the textile industry is considered the backbone of Pakistan economy, as it is the most important industry sector in terms of export of finished goods. The textile industries are using different types of chemicals in their production process, which severely cause environmental emissions and occupational health problems. The textile industry is also associated with water pollution, which is caused by the discharge of untreated wastewater because of the use of toxic chemicals, especially during processing or dyeing of the organizational operations. Therefore, sustainability related risks are directly associated with textile industry of Pakistan. With increasing worldwide awareness regarding the domain of sustainability issues such as environment and pollution, so economic condition and social stability have become major factors in the dynamics of the world markets and sustainable business around the world. Consequently, these problems are addressed in this research study in the textile perspectives. So, on the basis of these discussions in this study, we raise three basic questions to address in this research. The first basic question is what type of risks are tied in the contents of supply chain sustainability? How are the sustainability related risks analyzed? What are the steps taken by the manager of industries to mitigate risk and vulnerability? So, on the basis of these three basic questions, we drive three basic objectives of the studies. The first basic objective is to investigate and mitigate the risk related to textile supply chain sustainability. The second one is to analyze the nature, the cause, and effects of sustainability related textile supply chain risk. And at the end, the third one objective is to present a comprehensive model for mitigating sustainability related risk and vulnerability. So to fulfill these objectives, to achieve this objective, we propose the study. In this study, we applied the method or technique failure mode and effect analysis. This analysis tool is an effective analysis technique utilized in a wide scope of industries for improving the reliability of frameworks, product, procedures, and services. It is a well-organized analysis tool that is employed to study the problem in a systematic way that might arise in the running systems. In the FMEA approach, the survey participants were asked to evaluate the level of severity, probability of occurrence, easy of detection of each risk factor on a 7-point Likert scale. So for analyzing the identified supply chain risk factors, we asked the respondents to rank, to analyze the each risk factors with respect to three criteria. The first criteria is the severity level of the risk, the second is the probability of occurrence, and the third one is easy of detections. And we give them the level 7 Likert scale. By using the 7 Likert scale, the respondent rank the weightage the each risk factors. So after the recognition of risk, Pareto analysis is used to find out the most important risk factors. Pareto analysis is a statistical technique in decision making used to select a limited number of tasks that produce a significant overall effect. It is also known as 80-20 rule. By doing 20% of work, you can generate 80% of the benefit of doing the entire jobs. So Pareto analysis is a very useful tool if we have large number of criteria, so large number of factors. So by using Pareto analysis, we can identify the highly most important factors that we can take into our consideration as a first preference for improving, for going to fast performance. So for the purpose of data collections, the data collection collected through a structured questionnaire, communicated via email, physical meeting with the expert of supply chain from textile industries and academia members who have more than 10 years experience. For risk recognition, this study used extensive literature review, and the list was finalized by consent of experts from the textile industry to direct whether sustainability risks are evident or not in the supply chains of their organizations. And then develop a risk management framework which is developed with the help of data was collected by a structured questionnaire survey from a textile industry professionals. So this picture gives a idea about the modeling of supply chain sustainability related risk. Here we can see that there are three levels: the first, second, and third levels. When we are going to apply FMEA model, the further we divide our study into three levels. The first level is we can say that under first level there is a risk, and risk categorized into two categories, exogenous और endogenous. इसमें हम कह सकते हैं कि we can say that there are three main categories: financial risk, social risk, environmental risk. Further if we talk about the endogenous risk, here we categorize these categories into further subtopics, just like that: workplace diversity, corporate strategy, operational plan, occupations, and we can say the external stakeholder pressures. Furthermore, endogenous categories we further divide: economic condition, regulatory compliances, natural calamities, external stakeholder pressures. And further at the second level, we can say that you see the process. The first number is the risk recognition. What kind of risks are fall in textile supply chain sustainability, risk evaluations, and then risk analysis, and at the end how we can handle the identified highly affected risk. Here are the 6 strategies: we can reduce, we can prevent, we can cooperate, we can retain, we can monitor, we can control. And further at the third level, you can say that consequences, we can say that we study with respect to social, economic, production and operational plans, eco-design practices, organizational strategies, buyer-supplier relationships. So this is the whole idea of the today studies. We can say that it is a risk mitigation model for sustainability related risk, how we can work out, how we can implement it step by step. So further, here are the results of our study after applying the FMEA methods. Here we can say that the first column is the risk main categories, and the second column represent the sub risk categories, and the next level is the Likert scale. We can say the criterion of the evaluation: severity level, easy of occurrence, easy of detections, and the last column show the RPN numbers. So RPN numbers we get from applying the FMEA techniques. When we multiply the severity level, multiply with easiness of occurrence, and third column multiply easy of detection. After multiplying these three columns, we can get RPN numbers. RPN number basically show the effect of the criterion. Here we can see that the main criteria is environment, and further environment categorized into sub-risks like energy consumption, environmental accidents, non-compliance with sustainability law. These are the sub-risks identified with the help of existing literature and with the help of experts, industrial experts. So this is the first main domain of sustainability is the environmental domains. We get the RPN numbers of each sub-risk in the domain of environmental categories, and the next one is the social categories. Social categories, there is a sub risk like a child or forced labor, discriminations, unhealthy or dangerous working environment. We have further divided these are the sub-risk factors in sustainability related risk. And further there is a column severity level weightage, and next one is the occurrence level, and the third one is the detection levels. And after that, multiplying the last column shows the RPN numbers of each respective supply chain related risk. So the third category is the financial or economics domains. So financial or economic domains are also categorized into sub-sustainability related risks like false claims or dishonesty, tax avoidance, antitrust claims, price fixing, boycott, financial risk, litigations claims. So same I explained you previous domains. Same we work on this domain. The first column is the severity level, and second column is the occurrence level, and third is the detection level. So we multiply these level, we get the RPN numbers. So the three domains we calculate the RPN number. The highest RPN number shows the highest impacted sustainability related risk. So further, here we apply after getting the RPN numbers, means ranking the sustainability related risk. We get the RPN numbers, and later on we apply Pareto diagram for highlighting the most impact risky factors. Here we can see that the social sustainability is the most highly impact factor. Energy consumption, tax avoidance, like these are moves to up to downward. So this graph give us the idea about the maximum and highly impact risk factors. So further, after applied these two analysis tools, we find the most important 9 key risk factors. The first one is social instability, energy consumption, tax avoidance, financial crisis, pollution, heat, droughts, unfair wages, excessive working time, energy price volatility. So these are the highly impact factors that are presented in our studies. So how we can deal with these factors? Now we are going to discuss one by one. The first is the main category is environmental risk. In this category, there are 3 key risks like energy consumption, pollution, heat, and drought fall into the environmental domain of sustainability. So for overcoming these key risks and vulnerability, the industries and the government can play a very important role by investing in a cheap source of energy, such as wind and solar technologies, and environmental friendly process and products should be adopted by the industries and work with the ISO certified suppliers. So the next one category is social risk. Under the social risk, there are three risky factors: unfair wages, excessive working time, social instability, or unrest. These fall into the social domain of sustainability. So for overcoming these key risks and vulnerability, there is a need to create a strong relationship between government and industry stakeholders for gaining the trust of industrial stakeholders and implementing the long-time textile policies in true letters. In this scenario, social instability is a serious issue in Pakistan and considered a big hurdle for capturing more investment and achieving sustainable supply chain performance. So the third one and last is the economic or operational risk. So under these categories, there are three key risks like tax avoidance, risk, energy prices, and financial crisis. These fall into the economic domain of the sustainability. The government has to pay for overcoming these risk factors. The government has to pay attention and support the industry for future growth. It can be done by introducing an easy and online way of tax payment, motivate the industrialists to come into the taxation circle, encourage the exports by decrease export duties, control the energy prices, and engage the financial institutions to jointly support liquidity. So at the end, we are going to conclude our today presentation. So a total of 26 sustainability risks have been recognized and categorized into thematic six thematic groups through a detailed review of literature. The present research examined the critical supply chain risk associated with sustainable development, social, economic, and environmental aspects. The current study of risk management is validated and presented for highlighting real issues related to sustainability, specifically in Pakistan. And finally, this study would be beneficial for the policymakers to find out the most possible risks facing by the textile industry and make better policies for solving these issues with preferences. So thanks for watching the presentation.